Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This is the Tarot portion of the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can check out on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Over there, you'll find a description of the day's astrology as I've spelled it out here. Here, I will discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page, and then I'll play another card that, in the context of the day's astrology, may just give us something more to think about. So, let's get into it. The card that currently sits on the side of the page is the Five of Swords, and it's here because it relates in astrology to the first 10 days or the first decan of the sun's transit here in the land of Aquarius. Aquarius is an air sign, and swords in tarot represent air element symbolism. And air element symbolism is about the rationale, the mental faculty, okay? So how we think, what we plan, how we communicate, how we share information. And so we come to the Five of Swords, and we see a sort of, we see a person who appears to be taking a great deal of joy and pleasure in sort of winning arguments, right? If you think of those swords as thoughts, plans, and ideas, you see one person sort of holding more than they can, and they can actually even wield at one time, but they have also disarmed two other people, apparently, of their own thoughts, ideas, and you sort of plan contributions to the plan, right? So if this was ever a collaborative effort, it is not now. It became a combative effort because of this person. And this person sort of insists on coming out on top, okay? So this card speaks to some unbridled ambition, a desire to win at all costs. There's a little sneak attack that can come in, where maybe it looks like you're coming in to collaborate, but you really plan to just sort of take over and shoot down everybody else's ideas and convince everybody why you are so much more brilliant and capable of thinking, planning, and communicating than everyone else, okay? And it feels good to win arguments. It feels good to come out on top in in contests of ideas, in comparisons of ideas, and even, but there's a subtle consequence to being the person that nobody can beat. And that is that when we eliminate our competition, when we don't allow people to collaborate with us, we don't allow people to share their own thoughts, plans, and ideas, we create resentment in those people. And by doing so, we tend to isolate ourselves, okay? People who could have been collaborators or co-conspirators are likely to be pretty turned off by this winning at all costs kind of behavior. So, if you're the kind of person who really likes to go it alone, then you're fine, winning all the arguments and having all the best plans and ideas and not listening to anybody else. But understand that then you're on your own, kid, right? That reminds me of that Taylor Swift song, "You're on your own, kid, you always have been." Okay, and we turned over the Judgment card today. So Judgment is a major arcana card. It is a big message card, whereas this is a smaller message card, maybe about how you're being or what you're encountering in the world right now. Judgment is a more major message card, and it talks about renewal. It talks about sort of, the biblical idea of rapture, right? Of being reborn, of sort of coming back from the dead and being reborn into a newer, better reality, right? It talks about judgment, but listen, when we're talking about judgment, we're not talking necessarily about the judgment of other people. We're talking about the way that we judge ourselves, right? Which is how we suppose the divine will eventually judge us as well. So how do you talk to yourself? What are your opinions of yourself? How do you judge your own behavior, your own conduct, in your life these days? Where do I see this on the page? In terms of judgment, well, I've got to look at Mercury, because Mercury is not Mercury. I've got to look at Venus, because Venus is very much about balance, right? About finding elegant solutions. I've got to look at Saturn, because Saturn is very much about, you know, doing things the right way, tradition, doing what's tried and true, right? Venus and Saturn are conjunct at this time, and so Venus is, you know, our receptive quality is very interested right now in those things that feel stable and secure, okay? And as far as our judgment, as far as our as our assessment of the balance of things goes, the balance of things really has to show practical support for myself and for the people I interact with. Okay, so when I'm looking at my own when I'm looking at my own assessment of my behavior, of my own assessment of my own qualities at this time, I really want my qualities to reflect the value that that my relationships should be equally supportive for myself and for the other people in them, okay? And that my relationships should not just serve to lift me up, they should serve to lift the other person up, and in general they should serve the collective, the purpose of uplift for the collective, right? So I see that. Where else do I want to see? What else do I want to see here? Judgment. You know, as far as resurrection goes, that would be Pluto on the page. Pluto in Capricorn is about to come to an end. It's been there for 20-ish to 25 years. Just, you know, bringing about complete transformations of our institutions and habitual ways of being in the world. You know, a complete transformation of what were once thought to be rules and norms. So that our rules and norms and our institutions and our habits, our ways of being in the world are just not recognizable to what we would have thought of them as being like 20, 25 years ago. And if you look back over the last 25 years history, there's a lot of change that has come about when it comes to those things. Now, Pluto's going to be moving into Aquarius, and so it's going to be more about bringing transformation to our understanding of systems and how they work, how they're supposed to work, and whether or not they're doing what they're supposed to do, bringing transformation to systems in terms of, you know, renewal, updating our systems or replacing our systems with new ways of doing things that again benefit the larger group of humanity, right? We want everybody's uplift. We want everybody to find renewal, and we want everybody to find the support they need, the better life that they want to live, right? And that's what Pluto in Aquarius is going to be very much about. So we are coming up on this transition. Be thinking about it, okay? Think about the transformational vibes that have come through all of your own habitual ways of being and all of your own you know, the sort of things that you thought would never come to an end, and then the world just moves on, and it's just not like that anymore, right? Give some thought to that, and give some thought coming up to also how there's going to be a lot of reflection and review of the systems that we subscribe to, the ways of being we have in place, and whether they are providing uplift for the collective. And with all of that said, I'm going to put these cards together. So, if you have been, and I've been this person at times. If you've been the person who knows it all, who thinks they have the best plan, who thinks they have the best idea, is not open to input from other people, not open to criticism from other people, not even open really to collaboration with other people, who simply will shoot the ideas of other people down thinking you have the best idea all the time. If you're that person, you know, you're being called on to reflect on how that's working for you, right? Whether it is pulling you toward a better expression of your life, a more fulfilled expression of your life, whether it is pulling you to, you know, a sort of rebirth in your life, or if it is sort of keeping you stuck in a certain way of being, right? You know, there are people in the world who are simply sort of on their own, and they are not good at joining, and they're not good at collaborating, and you know, there's a lot more work. There's a lot of more personal like drive that is necessary, a lot of personal endurance that is necessary to be the person who does everything on their own, right? But, you know, doing things on your own like this, is it for the uplift of people in general? Because, you know, our life is really about to become very much about that. And doing this work on your own, are you going to be able to get by in a world where we're trying to be inclusive of all kinds of people in all kinds of spaces, right? Or is this going to work against your ability to get along in that world, right? Because like there's another world coming, and that's the message that's coming to me. When Pluto gets into Aquarius, it'll spend a few months in Aquarius this year, and then it'll go back into Pluto for a little while, and then next year it'll go back into Aquarius, and it'll be there for 20 plus years. Okay, so when that change comes, right, we're gonna get a little taste of it this year. When that change comes, is it going to continue to work for us to be the loners that we are? Is it going to continue to work for us to think that we can do everything on our own? You know, have the great ideas, make the plans and execute them, communicate very well, you know, and become the expert in all of the things you need to become an expert in to achieve your major goals, right? Or, you know, is that going to hold us back because we can't collaborate, right? Judgment even indicates it's about the uplift of a group of people, not just your personal uplift, but everybody is lifted up. Everybody finds support. Everybody finds a new way to be in the world. Okay, so don't get left behind. Don't get stuck in a way of being that is not open to collaboration. You know, look within, turn within. If you find yourself being struggling to be open to collaboration, if you don't like the input of other people, if you don't like to hear what other people think, or you know, you just feel like, oh, I can do all of this on my own, and so I should. That's a very American sort of bootstraps attitude. Understand that it's not the only way to go. Understand that you can collaborate with people, you can listen, you can make input, you can, and you know, the plan may not come out the way you would necessarily have created it on your own, but probably the plan will benefit more people in the long run, right? And again, we're seeking the uplift of everyone. So this is an opportunity to think about your participation in the uplift of the collective, and it's also, you know, your opportunity to think about what you think of your own behavior and how it contributes to the uplift of the coming uplift of the collective. I think that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate your presence here. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.